production, but also like how the business is done. Now, On Power is a subsidiary company of Reykjavik Energy. Reykjavik Energy is like the mother company that owns all of these four subsidiary companies. Veitur, which is the distribution of both hot water and electricity. Ljósleiðarinn, which is the fiber optic internet company. On Power, which is, for example, this facility. And Carbfix, our carbon sequestration company. Now, maybe a little bit more about this facility. Because On Power owns 2 geothermal power plants. This is Hellisheiði, where we are at right now. And Hellisheiði has 303 megawatts of electricity with our 7 turbines, like I said before. About 200 megawatts of thermal energy, roughly 950 liters per second of about 85-degree hot water that goes to the capital area. And the production of the power plant is brought here because we have about 47 production boreholes in the area. And all of these production areas, well, the average depth, like I said before, is about 2 kilometers or something like that. And the heat capacity is about 300 degrees Celsius, so it's very hot. And we do that with the production of the power plant. Hellisheiði geothermal power plant is also going to increase the hot water production in the next 2 years. And so it will go into probably about 300 megawatts of thermal energy, or about 1,500 liters per second. But On Power not only owns this geothermal power plant, but another power plant on the other side of the mountain. That one is called Nesjavellir. Nesjavellir produces a lot less of electricity, but a lot more of hot water. About 120 megawatts of electricity, and around 350 megawatts of thermal energy. The electricity production is from 4 high-pressure turbines. And the hot water production is from the 10 or 12 heat exchangers that we have in the Nesjavellir power plant. And they have about 22 boreholes in total there, with like almost an average depth of about 2 kilometers also, and about roughly 300 degrees also in the temperature. It's the same system, geothermal system, that we are utilizing, but it's just on the other side of it. On Power not only owns 2 geothermal power plants, we own also 1 hydroelectric power plant. It's a small one, Andaki. Produces about 8 megawatts of electricity with the 3 turbines, but it started operating in 1947. It was one of the oldest hydropower plants here in Iceland. And so we want to keep that going because of the heritage. It's just a small one, it's a cute small one. But what is happening here? What are we doing besides just producing electricity and hot water? On Power has what we call the geothermal park. The geothermal park is where companies can come here, utilize the resources from this geothermal power. Because not only are we producing hot water and electricity, we are producing so much more. We have these streams of energy: electricity, hot water, geothermal water, or this geothermal fluid that we were talking about before, cold water, and then carbon dioxide. Well, the carbon dioxide is a byproduct of the production process. But companies can come here and utilize this greenhouse gas for their own good, like we are going to talk about later on. And then because we are here up in the Hengill mountain, then we also have a lot of land that these companies can use. So companies can come here, utilize the low prices for the land area, utilize the low electricity, hot water prices, and then have like a sustainable economy inside this ancient mountain. It's like, yeah, it's just the same that we are doing. And who are we supplying in this geothermal power? These three companies over here are our current customers. We have Climeworks, which is a direct air capturing facility. We have Vaxa, which is growing algae in like a greenhouse environment. And then we have Geosilica. Climeworks has the largest direct air capturing facility in the entire world. Now, why is it over here than in Iceland? Because of our cheap and green energy. Also, because what I'm going to talk about later on is our own carbon sequestration company. It's called Carbonix. Vaxa, they are utilizing the hot water that we are producing here at this facility, and in the coming future they are also going to utilize carbon dioxide for their production. Because by growing algae you need carbon dioxide, because with all plant life is like that, you need carbon dioxide. Then geosilica. Now, before we re-inject this geothermal fluid back into the ground, geosilica takes some of that out and utilizes it for food supplements. And those food supplements all contain silica, but then also like magnesium, iron, zinc, stuff like that. So we are trying to create this sustainable economy inside this mix. And then maybe more about what OnPower is doing. OnPower not only produces electricity and hot water, we are also the only working hydrogen production facility on the island. We are producing about 1 megawatt of hydrogen per year, and that goes into our 3 hydrogen filling stations. And most recently, 3 months ago, the government of Iceland with the oil companies decided that we are going to increase our hydrogen production in the coming future, and we are going to import hydrogen semi-trucks that are going to supply goods over the entire island. Because they have, because Iceland is also so cold, kind of, so we want to utilize both battery electric vehicles but also hydrogen vehicles in the country. We are going to have this sustainable economy of delivering goods over the entire island. And that happened just 3 months ago or something like that. So in the coming 2 years, we are going to up our production to about 50 megawatts or 10 or 15 megawatts of hydrogen production. And why we have also hydrogen production here at this facility is because geothermal power is baseload power, meaning that we are always producing the same amount of electricity throughout the day and throughout the year. And so electricity demand goes like this over the entire day. And so because we are always producing the same amount of electricity, when demand is lower, we produce hydrogen with that lower demand, but because we are always producing, we produce hydrogen. I forgot to ask also, do you have any questions about anything that I've been talking about? All good? You're all with me? Yeah? Good. Now, this kind of power production, geothermal power, does require a lot of land usage. But because we have this land over here, the Hengil area, we need to have it also sustainable in that way. This is why we have the ecological restoration projects going on at the facility. Meaning that, for example, we dug up this trench, put cables inside this trench, but then before we started, or when we started, we put like the ground the side, then we filled it up, and then put the ground back on top, so there will be minimal disruption on the surface with the production of the carbon. And because this is such a large area, we need to do this so it's not just completely destroyed nature in the neighborhood center. Alright. Yes?
Did you say before about the energy demand? I mean, the own company is capable of covering the energy demand at all times. I mean, even to cover any seasonal load.
Yeah, I mean, on power has the production of about 420 megawatts of electricity with this one and Nesser.
This one and?
Nesser, the other geothermal power plants. But like I said before, most of the electricity generated in Iceland comes from hydroelectric power plants. And the hydroelectric power plants, since most of them are using like dams, they can act as like a demand like a supplement. Meaning that if the demand rises, we can just let more water go through the turbines. They produce more energy in that way. But because we here at this facility we are producing the same amount of electricity throughout the day, then we are not in that market. We are in the good question. More questions? All right. Then I want to talk about our sister company. Our sister company is Carbfix. Carbfix is taking carbon dioxide and turning it into stone. But Carbfix was also developed here at this facility to get rid of the emissions from the geothermal power plant. The emissions from the geothermal power plant include, but are not limited to, carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. That is the smelly gas that you find outside. And how does it work? We can maybe open up the door. Little air
voice and noise.
But how does it work?
More
here?
noise.
What we are doing here at this facility is that we are taking these carbon dioxide emissions, we are dissolving them in water, we're creating kind of like a bubbly water. This bubbly water is then re-injected into the ground. Like I was talking about with the geology of the Iceland, most of the rock in Iceland is basaltic rock. Basalt has a lot of calcium, magnesium and iron inside it. So the calcium will have a chemical reaction to the carbon dioxide, suppose calcium carbureted in the ground. Then the magnesium will also have, and the iron will have all of these carbonate minerals produced by reinjecting it back into the ground. And this is like a core sample over here. If you look at the core sample, you can see like the white inclusions here. These white inclusions are the carbonates that we are producing. So we are producing rock with the emissions from the rock. The project Silverstone is that we are going to lower the emissions at the HSA geothermal power plant by about 99% of both carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. Will be carbon neutral by 2030 with both this facility and our sister facility on the other side, which in turn will lower Iceland's emission by about 10%. But even though we are doing this, we need to do it more. And what the next step in this project is our what we call transportation and storage. Meaning that we are going to capture emissions from heavy industry inside Europe, for example, cement manufacturing, which is hard to decarbonize. Then we are going to put that into industrial tanks. And these industrial tanks are then shipped to Iceland, where we can